The title of today's seminar is How to Overcome One of the Biggest Problems in Marriage. It could really be how to overcome one of the biggest problems in any relationship. But I'm not going to tell you what that problem is just yet. But I'll give you some clues as we go along. It has to do with illusions that take place and how to overcome these illusions. Now, if I was to say to you, look, I have my hand like that, I rub it, and from nowhere we get a tissue, and I showed you the tissue like that, this little illusion, and then I take the tissue and then I put it back in the hand like that, and I blow like that, and it's gone. You would tell yourself, well, it's a trick. Your senses would have deceived you. You already told yourself it's a trick, it's an illusion. Nobody would believe, well, Dr. Nerenberg performed real magic. He made something appear out of nothing. Nobody would believe that. You say, well, I made a mistake. My senses fooled me. And I could also show you two lines like this. And most people, when they're asked which line is longer, would report that one. Most people give that one. In reality, the vertical lines are both the same. So many illusions that happen. There used to be a big illusion that the Earth was the center of the universe. It's not. We're just one of the many billions of planets, and the sun is the center of our galaxy. But for a long time, we had that illusion. And you'll get to see how this is relevant to overcoming one of the biggest problems in a marriage or in any relationship. The illusion also, some people, when they have an argument with one another, at that moment they say, well, what happened to the love? They think, well, maybe the love was an illusion. They're fighting, they're angry, so at that moment the love doesn't seem even real. But others will say, no, love is the ultimate reality, and the illusion is the anger which veils it over for temporarily. The big illusion that we have too is that most people feel tremendous sense of self-importance. And really we are important, but we're also insignificant in the big scheme of things. The illusion of self-importance. Most people become more upset at their car not starting. That seems the most important thing in the world. Trying to get to work in a rush, that seems the most important thing in the world. And not even thinking about all the starving children dying of hunger and different continents. The illusion of this being so all-encompassing and important. And we're going to see how that illusion plays into one of the biggest problems in marriage. So what I'm doing is basically preparing ourselves for understanding how wrong we can be. No question about it. If I made a handkerchief disappear before your very eyes, as I did, you would say it was not real magic. There is a trick to it. You would not really believe your senses, so you know your senses can be wrong, they can deceive you. And yet, would you believe your spouse if $1,000 disappeared from your bank account and she said she did not spend it? And you argue and argue until you found money in your wallet, and you remember suddenly that 2 months ago you yourself withdrew the money when you were ill and heavily medicated. You were sure she spent it, and yet you were very certain because she tended to be reckless with money. You saw the money was gone, and you knew she had her name also on the account, and she was, in general, not careful with money. You knew she spent it, and you stood up for what you knew. You were right, but actually, you were wrong. This particular scenario may not apply to you, but it is a very relevant paradigm. Why? It shows we can be wrong. We can misinterpret the facts because the facts are not just the facts. Human perception enters into it. And perception can be distorted, just as it was in this instance, where he knew his wife was loose with money, and this fact colored his perception, and in this case, he was wrong. He could have said, I doubt someone forged one of our names, and I have no recollection of taking the money. That leads me to suspect it is you.